My name is Dinesh Priyankara. I'm a Microsoft MVP and IT consultant. With this video, I'm going to talk about a common question we always get from our customers when we try to implement a Microsoft Fabric solution. They always ask, do we really need Microsoft Power BI Pro licenses or Microsoft Power BI licenses? So what they usually say is, okay, this is what we have heard. So we have to purchase just a capacity. So once we have the capacity, we don't need to purchase license for individual users. Or sometimes they come and say that, okay, we purchase F64, that's a capacity. And with this F64, anyone should be able to work with Power BI reports. These are things we always hear from our customers when we try to convince them on Microsoft Fabric implementations. So my answer is always yes and no. Basically, it depends, right? So it's better to understand what you can actually do with or without Power BI Pro licenses and whether everyone really needs it. And that's what I'm trying to explain with this short video. To make sure I'm sharing my experience in the best way and you get a clear understanding, I have listed out some common operations we perform. All right, so this is what you see. So these are the common operations users or we perform when we have to build an analytical solution using Microsoft Fabric. So in order to perform these operations, I have configured a workspace. I have not used F64. This has been configured with the lowest capacity available, which is F2. And then I have created two users for trying this, all these operations out. So the first user has been named as Jane. She has Power BI Pro license. And the other user, Jack, and he has no Power BI Pro licenses. So when it's come to Fabric free license have been assigned to both users. This is how you see licenses when it's come to these two users. So I'm going to walk you through all the operations quickly. Remember, this is not going to be a super detailed demo, but I want to show you whether without Power BI Pro license, each operation can be done fully, partially, or not at all. Let's start it. Okay, let's start with this workspace. So this workspace test 005 that have been created with capacity like F2. And you can see the workspace has been opened using Jack's account. You can see the profile picture at the top right corner. But these objects, Lakehouse and the report, all these are Jane's objects. So Jane has created the Lakehouse. She has uploaded some files and then data tables have been created using those files. Plus a report has been created using the default semantic model. So Jane has performed all these things. Remember, Jane has Power BI Pro license. So she had no issue. She was able to create the lakehouse, delta tables, configure the default semantic model, and the report has been created using the semantic model. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to try out same thing with Jack's account. Okay, so we are going to create a new lakehouse, and then let's see whether Jack can simply configure the default semantic model, and after that, let's check and see whether he can create a report as well. So I'm going to do all these, lakehouse creation, uploading files and creating delta tables, and then we'll start with the default semantic model. All right, I have created the lakehouse. This is the lakehouse 005, Jack 001. And I have created folders and delta tables. If I click on customer data table, I should see customer data, and same for sales and year data. Okay. Now, let's try and let's check and see whether Jack can simply start with default semantic model. So I'm going to switch to SQL endpoint. Let me click on this. And let me expand schema, DBO, and tables. Let's see whether we can see data. All right. Yeah. So tables can be seen. Let me click on model layouts and see. I don't see anything with the, my layout. So I'm going to click on automatically update semantic model. Now I can see my tables. All right. So which means Jack can simply work with the default semantic model. Now let's see whether he can create, for example, relationships. Okay. So let me select calendar year, drag and drop to year in year data. Sales to year data, it should be minute 1. Good. I'm going to click on save. Right. So 1-to-many relationship between year data and sales. So which mean Jack can work with this default semantic model. Let's go to the Explorer. Let's check and see whether Jack can open Jane's Lake House and then make adjustment to default semantic model. So I'm going to open Jane's Lake House. All right, let me switch to SQL endpoint. And I'll click on model layout. So Jack can see the default semantic model. Let's see whether he can make changes to this semantic model. I'm going to just delete this relationship. Yeah, it worked. And then let's see whether we can delete a table. For example, remove this customer table. All right. So he was able to make changes to Jane's semantic model. So which mean Jack does not need Power BI Pro licenses to work with default semantic models. All right. Now let's check on custom semantic model. Right. So let me go to the workspace and then open Jack's Lakehouse. Let's switch to SQL endpoint. Go for reporting. Click on new semantic model. So I'm going to say model 005 Jack 001. All right. And then let's pick some tables. I'm going to select only sales and year data. Click on confirm. Right. Let's go to the workspace and see whether we can see it. So I can see the model. All right. Let's open the model. Yeah, we can see it. Let's quickly create the relationship as well, just to make sure everything works well. Sales table to year data. So minute 1, that's correct. All right, now you can see a message. Free user cannot apply model changes. Upgrade to Power BI Pro. So we see this only with custom semantic model, right? We didn't see this message with default semantic model. Jack was able to work with the default semantic model, his lakehouse model, plus he was able to make changes to Jane's lakehouse model as well. But when it's come to custom semantic model, he was able to create it, but you can see he cannot make changes. Let's check and see whether he can add tables. So I'm going to cancel this and click on edit tables, expand tables, and let me select customer table. All right, so he was able to add tables. So this is what I experienced with this user. So this user has no Power BI Pro licenses, but he can simply create new semantic model. Unfortunately, he cannot make changes, but he can add tables. Let's say you have a person in your company and he has created a semantic model, but he has no way of making any changes. So one thing you can do is you can ask someone who have Power BI Pro license. They can open it and then make changes. And once the changes are done, of course, he can see it. Now, for example, we can go back to the Jane's account, make changes to this semantic model. For example, we can create a relationship, and then we can come back to Jack's account and see whether he can see the changes. Okay, so let's check and see. I'm going to switch to Jane's account and let's open Jack's model using Jane's account. All right, so this is Jane's account. She can see Jack's lake house. Not only that, she can see the model that has been created by Jack. So let me click on ellipsis button and then click on open data model. She can see all 3 tables. And then let's see whether she can add this relationship for Jack. That's mint 1. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so the relationship was created, not an issue. Okay, let's see whether she can remove the customer table. That's also worked well. But again, even Jack can remove tables as well. So it does not allow you to make relationships. This is what I have seen with Jack's account. Okay, But anyway, let's go back to Jack's account and see whether he can see this change. All right, let's open the model. No, let me open it using this ellipsis button. Basic. Yeah, see, the relationship can be seen. Can Jack delete this relationship? Let me try and see. No, he cannot. All right. Okay. So just to summarize how the semantic model part works, Jack can simply work with default semantic model, make changes, add tables, remove tables, create relationships. Everything can be done with the default semantic model, not an issue. But when it's come to a custom semantic model, he can create, but there are some limitations. Specifically, when it's come to changes, he cannot make much changes, but he can add tables. He can drop tables as well, but he cannot, make changes like creating relationships or dropping relationships. All right. Okay. I'm sure that he will be seeing these restrictions even with creating calculated measures as well. Okay, so let's quickly check and see whether Jack can create reports against the default semantic model and the custom semantic model as well. Let's go to the workspace and let's open the default semantic model first. Let me go to reporting and then click on new report. So he gets this message saying, in order to create a report, he needs Power BI Pro, right? So which means Jack cannot create reports against default semantic model. Let's go back to the workspace. Let's open the custom semantic model. And let's click on new report. So he sees the same message, update to paid Power BI licenses, which means he needs Power BI Pro for creating reports. Let's do one more testing on reports. We need to check and see whether Jack can access the report that have been created by Jane. So let's go to the workspace. Let me go back to the workspace. So this is the report that was created by Jane. So let me click on it and see whether Jack can open it. So we see the same message. So which means, Jack cannot create reports and Jack cannot open reports that have been created by others as well. But remember, we are testing this on F2 capacity. If this is F64 or higher, then of course, other users can open reports that have been created by Power BI Pro users. Okay. So if you have F64 or above, then of course, users not going to see this message. But in this case, capacity is F2. So in that case, users need Pro license for seeing reports that have been created by users who have Pro licenses. All right, here's the summary. Okay. So in terms of creating Lakehouse default model, yes, Jack can simply perform everything. When it's come to creating reports against the default model, no, he cannot create any reports. When it's come to custom semantic model, Jack was able to perform some operations like creating a semantic model, adding tables, but he was not able to make changes. Creating reports against the custom semantic model, no, he was not able to, perform that as well. So let's quickly go through other tasks and see. Then you can see what sort of operations Jack can perform without Power BI Pro licenses. Okay, let's start with Dataflow Gen 2. Why I have taken Dataflow Gen 2? Many believe that Dataflow is actually part of Power BI. That's why I have taken it. So let's check and see whether Jack can create a Dataflow Gen 2 in this workspace. So I'm going to click on new item and let me quickly search for Dataflow. This is the one. I'm going to select Dataflow Gen 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect with my Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Okay. And then let's see whether we can get some data from one of the files in this storage. So click on get data from another source, view more, and then let me filter it for Azure storage Gen 2. Right. URL. Let me get the URL. Is the URL. So this is the storage and this is the container. Right. Let me select the authentication kind as shared access signature. I have already generated the token. Let me get the token. Done. So remember, I have given read and list permission for this token. So I should be able to connect with it. Yeah, so all good. Close this. Right, I'm going to click on create and let's pick one of the files. Let's say something like this. Let me select this. We don't need to worry about the data. I'm going to set the destination. This is the workspace. Let me expand it. This is the lake house created by Jack. So I'm going to select it and I'm going to say product as the table name and click on next. I'm okay with the columns. If I want, I can make changes, but let's check and see whether this works. I'm going to click on publish. So the data flow has been created. I should see, yeah, I see the indicator. So which means it is getting published. Once this part is done, then data will be refreshed. All right, data flow has been published. Now you can see it is getting refreshed. All right, so it has been refreshed. Let's quickly go to the lake house and see whether we can see the product table. Yeah, so we can see the product table. So which means Jack can create data flows without Power BI Pro licenses. All right, let's check for a few more items. Let's check and see whether Jack can create paginated reports. So let me go back to the workspace, click on new item, and I can look for paginated reports. You can see it's a preview fabric item. Let me click on it and see. Okay, so it clearly says that in order to create paginated items or the paginated reports, you need to have Power BI Pro licenses, right? So which means Jack cannot create paginated reports. How about scorecards? Let me click on new and search for scorecard. Okay, so I'm going to click on scorecard. Same. So Jack cannot create scorecards without Power BI Pro licenses. How about dashboard? Let's have a look. Let me click on new item and dashboard. I'm not talking about real-time dashboard. This is something related to Event House or real-time intelligence. I'm talking about this dashboard. Okay, let me click on that. So it says the same thing, upgrade to a paid Power BI license. So even dashboards cannot be created. But you have to know something on this dashboard fabric item. So let's say Jane has created a Power BI dashboard. Okay, and Jane has added some content to the Power BI dashboard, but those are not report items. Let's say something like image or a text box. Okay, you know that you can add multiple tiles to your dashboard. So Jane has added things like that, but Jane has not added any report items that contains data. In that case, Jack can simply open the dashboard. Okay, I know that it has no meaning. I mean, the dashboard without report items is useless. But let's say for some reason a dashboard like that has been created. Okay, so in that case, Jack can open that dashboard and see. He doesn't need to have Power BI Pro licenses. But let's say there is a dashboard that has been created by Jane and it contains report visuals that shows like pie chart, bar chart, or table visuals. In that case, Jack will not be able to open the dashboard. Okay, that's what you have to remember. Okay, I'm going to check one more item. Let me close this. Let's click on new, and then you might have used this before, which is streaming dataset. Okay, this is something we use when it's come to streaming or real-time visuals in Power BI. Okay, so let's check and see. There is something called streaming data flow. That's not what I'm going to check. I'm checking streaming dataset. Let me click on it and see. We see the same error. Okay. All right, here's the summary. So we have already gone through first couple of operations. So then as a second part of the demo, we tested data flow, paginated reports, scorecards, dashboard, and streaming data sets. So you can see data flows, yes, Jack was able to create, which means you can create data flow items without Power BI Pro licenses. Creating or weaving paginated reports, scorecards, dashboards. No, Jack cannot do it even for streaming dataset. He cannot do anything with the streaming datasets. But one thing you need to remember is when it's come to dashboard, he can open dashboards that have been created by others as long as those dashboards do not contain the report items. Okay. Right, that's what I wanted to share. If you know more Fabric items that are related to Power BI, and if I have not listed here or if I have not explained as a part of this video, please share those things. So you can simply add comments. That will be useful for me and useful for others as well. That's all from my end. Thank you very much for watching this video.